guys, Wahoo here, back on a video. This time around we are going to talk about, as the title says, Death-Defying is dead, or finally dead. And what I mean by that is that the veil that we have been using for such a long time is actually gone, or it's not really gone, but it just doesn't have to be the requirement that we are going to use every single time. And I know I'll go into like sort of details and such, but this sort of just the TLDR of the video, that it's basically gone or it's not necessary to use anymore. I also want to mention that I'm a little sorry that I haven't been uploading for a couple of weeks. I've just been super busy. I have been streaming, so catch me on that live stream on Twitch. It is linked in the description. But heading into the video, we are going to talk about Death-Defying. Death-Defying, if you don't know what Death-Defying is, it's the vial that we've been using, or most people have been using, because of what it does is that it automatically uses itself. It gives you 30% life back on use, and when you're on low health, as you would be killed, you then define death. So basically you will not die for having this one. And it's very, many people know about this one. It's not something crazy or new or anything like that. But what is the new thing then? Because why are we not really, what is this not mandatory? I know it's not mandatory in that sense, but usually people use it when they're farming because, some people also use some other ones. I'll go over those as well, but mostly people use these because it's just the most easiest thing to do. And if you were to get one shot, you wouldn't die and you wouldn't lose all your magic find, even though it's not that hard to get that magic find back. And there's really no drawback to dying in Trove except for the magic find. And you kind of want that magic find, but if you were to lose it, it's not like the biggest of deal. It's not like you lose experience or you lose your character. It's not like hardcore, you would lose your character forever. So it's not that important, but this is sort of also a little mini guide, I could say. It's not big deal or anything like that, but we got the new block for blocking, of course, dying. So that is really super awesome. It's actually bigger than it initially was. I was like, okay, this is great, but we do have that already in the game. But I didn't think about it could open up possibilities for using other vials, and that's sort of the kind of mini guide in the whole thing, that I'm going to talk about some vials that you can actually use instead, and also talk about how kind of the block is going to work. So if you didn't know, it's very simple, very easy, but in the hub, I will show you right here on the screen what it looks like, what the block thing. You cannot put it in your club world. You can only put it in your cornerstone. They might change that in the future. I hope they're going to change it in the future, that it also can be in the club worlds, but right now it's in the hub and it's in cornerstones. You can buy it and put it in there as well. And basically how it works is that you use your builder, I was about to say builder right, but that's a different ability, or not ability, but consumable. But you use your block element that you get from loot collecting items. Most items get the block element. You can also get it from the boxes that we are opening. So if you go right over here, you have the boxes, the gear crafting vaults. Those can obtain, have of course gear in it that will give you also have block element in it as well, but usually you just get it for loot collecting as well, and that you can use. You can also use real money if you want to do so. I would not suggest you do that. So if you're looking, you don't have a lot of this block element and you're kind of saving up to do a bunch of stuff with it, I would not spend it on the block. I would basically use it to do whatever I had to do with other things, but I wouldn't go out there and spend real money powering this stuff up here, because how it works is that every time you would die, it would go down one. So you can see, I'm not sure if you can see. All right, we'll just switch really quickly over to full screen instead. It was kind of zoomed in on the other one, but you could see what it was still. It was still down here. You can see that it's basically the same thing. But the point is that 396 block I have, and the block calculates out how much life you have, how much of other defensive stats you have. So if you have a bunch of stability and health regen and stuff like that, all those defensive ones, that is what it calculates out of. And then some classes get naturally tankier and some have more than others. But all you really have to know is that every time you would die, it would take one of these lives basically. So basically I would have 396 lives, if you could say it like that, before I had to refill it, but you can refill it whenever you want to. But as of my stats right now, I would have 396 lives basically. So before we had, of course, as we had the vial, right? We had that one had about if I go really quickly and click this one and I click here, I have about 24 of these. So basically I would only have 24 lives, if that makes any sense. So when that one ran out, I would then of course not have that opportunity to keep living. And of course I just have to find one of these refill station, rejuvenation stations, and then get my potions back, and I would have those as well. But if you didn't weren't careful and you weren't looking, you could run out of them. And of course the same thing goes with the block, but you can have a lot more of it. And again, it also opened the opportunities to use some other vials, and that is what we are looking for today, is the other vials. So emblems is basically still the same. Arcane emblem is of course the best one for magic damage users, and of course the other one is of course for physical damage. That still goes into it, and I still use the bountiful emblem as well. You can use other things if you want to do so. There's ones that are better than others. If you basically want a shield, or you want to move a little bit faster, if you want all the energy back, or you want some some allies that are gonna do some damage for you, but the damage on the allies are not something significant. Just keep that in mind. But it could be a little bit, because there is a vial that does basically this one. I think this, yes, right, this one, double the effect of any equipped emblems that summons combat minions. So this vial down here could be something that your minions are going to do a little bit more damage, but I wouldn't like build everything around that. But what I'm actually using is this one right here. And why am I using this one? As it says, it has a chance to recover 1 charge when you deal a critical hit. And there is a cooldown on it. I'm pretty sure there's a cooldown on it, because I do have exactly 100% crit hit, which means that every single time I attack, it is a chance. But you would, if you hit, like, let's say 10 times a second, right? You would get, if there was no cooldown on it, you would get 10 vials back every second. That would be too crazy. So I think there is a sort of a cooldown on it before you can actually recover one. But of course, having a 100% crit hit, that also means that you have when it then goes off cooldown and you will actually get a charge, you do get a charge instantly, because you do have that 100% crit hit. You can also have more than that, as long as it's over 100%, then you would always have a chance of getting one of these vials back. But that doesn't mean that all the vials, it's not only this vial that is great, but this is really great because you have the not dying part now on the block, and you now have you can have this getting charges back, so you don't have to refill your potion like you had to do, of course, with the Death-Defying. That one didn't refill itself. All it did was basically just doing this one. But I do suggest that you still get the Defying if you already have it. Many people do have it. If you already have the Death-Defying, it's super awesome, because you can still use it on your other characters, because you don't really want to spend a bunch of block element on all your other classes, because that doesn't really make any sense. You might as well just use the Death-Defying, and then on your main character, that you would use something different that you are going to use. But there is plenty of nice vials that are going to be here, especially also the one with the magic find. If you have a lot of magic find, this can also trigger. And I think there's a cooldown on it as well, because magic find is not something that triggers all the time, but it can be quite often. So I still feel there is a cooldown on this one, but this one is a little bit more reliant, I feel like. And maybe the cooldown on this one is lower. There's no data on how much cooldown there is on it, but that's just a feeling when I was going around, defending or defeating things. It seems like that. And there's a few other ones you can as well use if you want to do so, but most of them it is all right, and can have sometimes some features in there as well. But more or less, I would go with this one, or I would go with the magic find trigger one, or you can still go with the Death-Defying, or one of those that has a lot of triggers, like for example this one. The banderole has the most charges of flask if you want to do that, but it doesn't do anything besides that. It's just if you want to keep spamming your potions, and I think you can get up to like a lot of potions, 32. And if I actually use my real banner, which is this one, that has included some more of these, so I can get up to 37 of these. It's pretty crazy. And of course, if you do also have patron with this as well, if I go right here, you will get some more flash charges. You will get 2 more of this, so you'd actually almost get 40 charges, which is absolutely crazy. But again, you don't have any basic chance to get them back, so I would suggest this one would maybe in the end, depending on how much time or how often you use it, then you could use this one as well. So yeah, that is why Death-Defying is basically dead, and we've kind of been looking for this for a while because everyone was using Death-Defying. Some cases people were using different ones to, you know, get more flash charges. Like this one, for example, people were using this, you know, when they ran out of Death-Defying, then they were kind of standing kind of back and trying to, you know, recover some of those flash charges. And some people also use other ones of these, but really the best flask was, or the best vial was, the Death-Defying one. So that's why people were using that one. And some people also used, of course, you know, some of these other ones. Also the Magic Find one was some people that were using and such, but you know, you were just more inclined to use the Death-Defying. So we've just been looking for a long time for this one to, you know, kind of have the replacement, and we do have that now. So I would suggest you go and get yourself some block element, and then of course get yourself some block in the hub or in your cornerstone if you bought it there, and then have that as well, and then use this one if you have that 100% crit. If you have like 90 plus, it's still fine, and like most of your hits is going to be there, so don't worry about that. And if you are missing, you want some crit, there's always the, let me see if I can find, yeah, there you go, the Sure Strike emblem as well. That will give you 20% critical hit for 10 seconds, and you can buy this off the golden ships that are in the water worlds and such. There's those golden ships where you can buy your Trove of Wonders, and there is going to be some you can buy from there. Some of them are from the store. This one is also from the Trove of Wonders, or vendor from Trove of Wonders. As you can see, purchase from the Weaver of Wonders for Wonder of Fragments. And Wonder Fragments get you, when you open the Trove of Wonders, there is a chance of getting some of these, big chance actually, and then you can purchase from there. So find the golden ships, and it's going to be very simple as that. This is from the store, of course. These two is from the stores, and you can buy it with credit and Qubit, so you can buy it actually for free, which is really, really nice. So anyways, that was the guide I had for you guys, or kind of the explanation, and kind of also nice that we have another suggestion, or not another suggestion, but we have other opportunities to have other vials. So that's super awesome. So go out there, maybe play around with the block. And again, you don't have to have as much block as I have. You can have less. You don't have to have as much, and it triggers automatically, and you lose one. So if you have 10, you already have 10 lives. So yeah, it's pretty awesome indeed. But I do want to mention before the video ends, don't keep clicking the buying, you know, you fill up your thing, because you can actually keep using your block element every time you use it, every time you click on it. So just keep that in mind, that you shouldn't just spam click it. Just click it once, and then maybe more times in like just one click at a time, basically. Don't spam it, because you can use all your block element that way. So wanted just to mention that before we was heading out. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.